Build smart, move fast, get the edge at last. This is the Catalyst.
You are listening to The Catalyst, the podcast by the Long Beach Area Chamber of Commerce. Welcome to the Small Business Resiliency Series, brought to you by Don Temple Storage, Wells Fargo, Dignity Health St. Mary's Medical Center, Hyatt Regency Hotel, Intertrend, and Crown Castle. And now, onto The Catalyst.
And welcome to The Catalyst. This is another episode as part of our Small Business Resiliency Series. And I am happy to have on the program today, Dave Garden, founder and CEO of Kiwi. Now, I want to, first off, Dave, welcome to the program. Thanks for coming on board.
Thanks for having me.
You got it. So for those who don't know, what is Kiwi?
Kiwi is a real-time demand engine platform that the goal is to bring small businesses more business, and in concert with that, help consumers, local shoppers, get a better price when they buy whatever they're looking to buy.
You know, and this is why I wanted to have you as part of this program, because we've been talking with small business owners about how hard it is now to do business and to get customers, whether you're a brick and mortar, a restaurant, a bar, a retail shop. And you talk to a lot of businesses because that's what you do. You're a business that helps business get business. So what are you seeing out there? What are you hearing from your customers? And then let's maybe get into a little bit about some of the things that you've been experiencing here as you're doing a startup here in Long Beach as well.
Yeah, I mean, I think post-COVID is really the driver to a lot of this. And frankly, the emergence of big tech. What we've learned, and we've visited literally hundreds of businesses in Long Beach specifically, and I've spoken to hundreds of business owners even outside of Long Beach. We're not launched outside of Long Beach, but I still have gotten, I've had many conversations with them. And there's one constant complaint literally across the board, whether they say it or they don't say it. The key word is trust. And I think small business owners have been turned upside down by big tech. There's a lack of trust in the marketplace. I feel like big tech just has mastered the science of extracting every single penny from small businesses. And results are generally very, very hard to gauge. There's a lot of unknowns, a lot of variables. But what is these small business owners are seeing charges every month on their credit card from platforms. They're seeing invoices and bills every month on their credit cards or getting invoiced for it to pay, and they're not seeing increases in business. So I think there's a massive lack of trust to anyone that walks in their door, and it's hard for them to decipher what's real, what's not real, who they can trust and who they can't trust, and it's a real problem. The fact of the matter is we built this platform knowing all that because we learned before we built it. And the biggest component that we added to it is as a small business owner, if you don't make money on our platform, you're not paying. And that's the bottom line. You pay for what you make. So that's the most fair model that you can ever use for a small business. And it really is a no-lose scenario versus their typical platforms that they're used to. They're still paying that $500 a month, $299 a month, whatever it is, whether they make money or not.
We seem to always be getting nickel and dimed in business, and whether it's city licensing permit fees, whether it's online fees, credit card fees, those things start to add up after a while, and you got 2.9% here and 1% there and $500 here and $999 there. Those charges are real money, and you got to pay them whether you make a dollar or not.
Yeah. I mean, it's kind of a travesty in all honesty. Everything has gone up so much since COVID. I've always done the shopping for my house at grocery stores. And in 2018, most items in the store was just a standard $2.99, $3.99. And when you walk in the same store in the same aisle now, everything is $6.99, $7.99. So prices have literally doubled, if not more than that. And small business owners are feeling the pain by their cost of goods, by what they have to pay their employees, workman's comp, other taxes, and other obligations. So The city of Long Beach takes their share, county of Los Angeles takes their share, state of California, federal government. So it's just a nonstop grab from small businesses. And, with all due respect to small business owners, you might have a guy or a gal that is incredible at their craft. They could be the best barber in the world or the best chef in the world, but they might not know how to navigate around all the things that they need to navigate around in order to make their business profitable. And I know that's a big problem these days as well.
Yeah. And we talk a lot about on this show about the brick and mortar kind of retail, driving traffic, getting people in, but you're doing a digital startup. You are a AI web-based, app-based, startup here. What kind of challenges do you face in this world nowadays with a AI startup or a .com startup or a app startup as opposed to brick and mortar?
Yeah.
What's keeping you up at night?
Yeah, I mean, look, I'm a heavy supporter of AI in general. Part of the reason is I think it's not going anywhere and it's here to stay. So I don't have a choice. You have to embrace it to some extent. I think the biggest problem though with AI and everything about it is people have forgotten about real life when it comes to AI, and they're putting all their eggs in the AI basket, and they're forgetting about what really makes the world go round, which is small businesses, which is brick and mortar. If you want to live in your house and close your door and live your whole life on a robot or an AI agent, then go ahead. But AI will never ever replace the experience of leaving your house, enjoying the weather, walking down Second Street, Fourth Street, downtown, wherever it is, walking into a restaurant, socializing, looking at a menu, seeing what's new, seeing what's not. It can never replace that. But I think the emphasis on AI has gravitated totally away from that. And there's just no support for that lifestyle or that world anymore. It's really just disappeared, and it's sad, and it's yeah. So the truth is, it's up to the people. It's up to the everyday person to combat that a little and stand up and say, I want to get out of my house. I want to go support local businesses. Half of these business owners are your neighbor. So
Mhm.
I don't care where you live in America. Half of the business owners that are in your community live next door to you, whether it's a plumber, an electrician, a coffee house owner, a barber, whatever it is. They are your neighbors. So when you support big tech in Silicon Valley, you're not doing anything to support your own community and people who live around you.
You mentioned a lot of different businesses in there, barbers, nail salons, restaurants, a lot of them in the service business. As you're talking to them, are you experiencing any sort of commonalities as far as the struggles that they're going through? And what are you doing to help alleviate those concerns?
Well, I mean, yeah, there's endless struggles, and you see it yourself. You can walk down any street in Long Beach between the hours of 1:30 and 5 p.m. and most businesses do not have people in their business. So there's tons of struggles. I think that's become the status quo, and a lot of business owners have just learned to accept that, unfortunately. The problem is they're still paying their servers, their bartenders, their chefs the same amount of money during those hours, no matter what happens. So, that's the biggest struggle that I'm seeing. As far as the solution to it, I don't think business owners know the solution at this point. And I think the only way for them to figure it out is to actually engage and to talk to other business owners to figure out what they need to do to motivate and get people going. So I think, look, pre-COVID or even in the mid 2000s or mid 2010s, we weren't in this spot. Businesses were busy. You didn't see for lease signs all over buildings and stores. And now you see them everywhere. And I feel for these businesses. It can't be easy to start a bakery or a bar or a restaurant or a salon and not worry about how you're going to pay rent or pay your employees or your cost of goods. So it's It's an epidemic problem right now.
We launched this series, the Small Business Resiliency series, because of COVID and how that was changing. And now we're 6 years later, post COVID, and we've seen that shift that you were talking about, from businesses that were fully in person to now fully remote. And when you take those people out of a downtown core or out of a business corridor, you're losing lunch hour rushes, you're losing happy hour rushes, and you're kind of like dispersing all that people and all that commerce into all these other different places. People don't go out as much. People are staying in. You're losing that kind of face-to-face camaraderie. We were just having a meeting with a very well-known restaurant down here that was doing fantastic, but before COVID. And now he was saying that he's down to operating 20 hours a week. Dinners only, lunch crowd completely disappeared. And mounting fees, higher in excess fees, higher labor costs, higher cost of goods, higher fuel transportation prices, is not just, it's eating into the very little profit that they had to begin with. And we're talking about an established 30-year business here in Long Beach that now is down to operating 20 hours a week.
Yeah. Well, I mean, think about all the employees that he has or they have that, now got their hours cut in half. There's a lot of variables to this that people don't think about or consider. I think that we've all, well, not all of us, but most people have just gotten in the habit of picking up their phone and going on to an app and ordering food to their house, having it delivered. And, that's not sustainable. It just isn't. The average person in America makes X amount of dollars. And when you have to pay 2 or 3 times what it should cost for a taco or a slice of pizza or a sandwich or a salad, how long can that last? And I feel like, people just need to mobilize, and they need to take a stance and say, I want to get out of my house. Not to mention it's healthier, it's happier. It, brings you joy to leave your house and see other people, and it's, you solve a lot of problems by doing that. It's just, it's sad because I don't know if I see any massive changes coming with it at any point, but hopefully it is sooner than later, because it's sort of an elastic effect where it affects not just the business owner, it affects a lot of people, in the ecosystem.
If you had a magic wand and one wish, what would that wish be to improve the business community here in Long Beach?
Everybody band together and honestly stop supporting these big tech companies. Get out there and support your neighbors. Get out there and walk into stores, walk the streets, go get a coffee. Don't order it on a delivery app. At the end of the day, restaurants and businesses on these platforms don't even make profits from these orders. There's menu markups. There's massive, massive service fees. There's a compromise of the quality of your food when it gets to someone's door. So there's a lot of negative effects to it. I get it. They have to be on these apps to compete with everyone else. But, maybe limit the hours that you're on these apps. Start with that. Force people to get out of their house. They used to walk out of their office. They used to take the elevator down the lobby, walk out of their office and walk into a business, buy lunch, carry it back to their office and enjoy it with a colleague. Those days are done. Now it's, hey, I'm ordering from so-and-so. Does anyone want? And you split the bill 4 times with people, and that's what it works. That's what happens. But, everything gets affected by this. Our schools, the beauty of the city improvements, you name it. Everything gets affected. And at the end of the day, the cities will have no choice but to try and help more to make this all right.
One of the things that you mentioned about, and when I said you have one wish, what is it? You'd mentioned these things. They're the exact same things we hear about in community meetings with politicians as well, about how to make our neighborhood safer, how to clean up the homeless crisis, how to be able to, make things better for everyone. And we know that activating spaces and people going out does all that. It brings neighborhoods together, brings communities together. It reduces crime, reduces homelessness, and puts back a little bit of pride in the community that you're living. And that snowball effect all starts around activating local business corridors.
Well, to me, this isn't a difficult one. This is more of a band together, residents just do it. I mean, that's what it is. This isn't that difficult, And look, I'm not suggesting you go out and protest against Silicon Valley. That's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying, how about some alternatives sometimes to that? That's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
Spread the money around,
Yeah.
walk into these businesses. But, the truth is if I do it or you do it, it doesn't solve the problem. This is a much bigger problem than you or I. And it's no different than throwing your trash in the trash can. If everyone doesn't do it, you don't have a clean city. So, and this, by the way, this is not a Long Beach problem either. There's not many cities in America that don't experience and aren't experiencing this exact problem right now. And it's been going on since COVID, and it's only getting worse and worse because these platforms have mastered making people dependent on them. They've mastered getting people addicted to their platforms, whether it's Facebook or Instagram or whatever it is. And, people have just literally become addicted to all these platforms out there, DoorDash, whatever it is. And I think that people need to take a pause and take a break and say, instead of using these apps 7 days a week, I'm going to use it 4 days a week and see what happens. I mean, even doing something like that will make a material difference in the city.
Yeah. We've been talking with Dave Garden. He's the founder and CEO of Kiwi, real-time deals app you can get online through Apple and Google too, right? The Google Play Store.
Yep.
So they launched here in Long Beach officially and exclusively. What is it going on? 10 months now or so?
No, we launched basically December 1st.
Okay. So
We are 6-7 months into it. That was a soft launch, and our full hard launch was around April 1st.
So if you haven't already done so, go and download their apps and check out what they're doing. It's gone through a lot of iterations and it's getting better and better every day. Dave, for people who might want to reach out to you, people maybe want to learn more about your platform, either as a user or as a merchant, what's the best way for someone to get in touch with you?
Send me an email directly, Dave at KIIWI.ai, Dave at Kiwi.ai.
All right. As we wrap up here, is there any other things that you want to leave our audience with? Any last thoughts that you want to provide?
Of course, I want to share a little more about Kiwi. And the reality is for a small business, you guys have absolutely nothing to lose to join our app. There's no platform fees monthly. There's no contracts. There's no obligations. If it works for you, you stay on. If it doesn't work for you, you get off. I mean, that's the reality to it. So we really are trying to help small businesses. We really are trying to make a difference. In fact, we haven't even charged one platform fee or commission on redemptions in the first 6 months of our business. So, it's, and we've made a difference in a lot of local businesses for sure. Incremental increase in sales and a lot of upsells too to businesses when people walk in the door. So, it's a change. It's a fresh, new approach to increasing sales of small businesses. And we're right beside you guys. We want to do it with you. And it's really a no-brainer.
Yeah, people don't really think that there's an app or a marketing platform out there to help drive traffic to a business that doesn't cost anything, that doesn't have hidden fees, or they're trying to slide one by you,
That is non-existent these days. And unfortunately, the trust is very, very broken between small businesses and tech platforms. And, it's unfortunate, but I fully understand small business owners feeling that way because I've been burnt just like they have. You think it's going to cost one thing, and of course, it always lands up costing something else. And good luck getting a hold of support because that's non-existent. So, we're totally different. You can call me anytime you want. You can email me anytime you want. You'll get a response within minutes, even at 4 a.m. on a Saturday or Sunday. And that's just the way we do business.
All right, Dave with Kiwi. Again, his email is Dave, DAVE, at KIIWI.ai. A lot of I's in there, KIIWI.ai. Go check out their app. Go download their information. See what they're doing here in Long Beach and get in touch with them, because I know I've been a member and I've been looking at the deals and redeeming and participating, and it is really a great thing. So let's get out there and support another local business here to Long Beach. Dave, thanks for joining us here on the Catalyst as part of the Small Business Resiliency Series. Excited to have you. Thank you again for joining us today.
Pleasure. Thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Thank you.